The Masters are back, and it's inspiring all of us to suddenly think we're golfers. I'm not joking, though. I think I'm actually good at golf. Don't laugh. We're getting a quick lesson with simple tips anyone can try, even if you've never picked up a club. Also, women, ambition, and burnout. Author and expert Dr. Ann Welch joins us on how to find the right balance between success and family. And are you in a future faking relationship? I've been there. Watch to find out. Colorado & Company starts when? Oh yeah, right now.
Portions of Colorado & Company contain paid content.
Good friends, gonna get you through the day. Good friends.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. April weather in Colorado can be all over the place, unlike every other month, which is also like that. Sunshine one day, severe storms the next, and that kind of wear and tear, it can take a toll on your home. That's why we're checking in with Dave Thomas from Mountain Safe Exteriors. Hi.
Tori, I don't recognize
I know.
You look like the studious professor
I
over
know.
here, huh?
Can I be honest? These have no prescription in them. Let's just be clear with the audience. Just to look cool. Happy April.
Mine do. You want to try? They're like
Yeah.
Coke bottles.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, right. Let's switch. Let's
I
see.
don't know. I think I can pull these off.
Oh my God, you're blind.
I know I am. Look
Oh
at
my
that.
God. You're looking good. Hey, I can't see. I can't see it all. All right.
Mr. Magoo over here. Sorry.
That's right. Here
Let's
we
talk.
go.
Hey, listen. Weather's amazing.
Yes.
Spring home improvements is in full swing.
Full swing.
I don't want to talk doom and gloom.
Okay.
But if your house is sided with wood or this stuff, what is it?
This is cardboard, y'all.
You got it. Garbage. It's called pressboard. It's little glued particle chips of wood.
Nothing.
Then your house probably isn't safe, and it probably doesn't meet the new Colorado Wildfire Code Act that was passed at the beginning of this year, which says we're looking for non-combustible protection for the envelopes of your house.
Got it. So this is useless.
It's garbage.
Got it.
Right?
Garbage.
I wish I could blowtorch it for you right
Get it
now.
outta here.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So what qualifies? What does this mean? What is the impact? Well, if you live in the mountains, the foothills, they've put out a map which shows what the severity of your burn rating is where you live. You can lose your homeowner's insurance.
Wow.
If you go
That's a big deal right now.
It's huge,
Yeah.
right? If you go to sell your house, the person buying it can't get mortgage insurance.
I see.
So the value of your house is nothing, right?
Yeah.
So what are we allowed to do? Well, stone, brick, both of which usually require a whole foundation structure to support the weight of them,
Oy.
correct? Stucco, maybe if we're in South Florida, right?
I was going to say Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Or what Mountain Safe is the second largest installer of in the country, James Hardie siding. It's called fiber cement, really should be called fiber concrete because that's what it is. Hail-proof, rot-proof, mold-proof, no woodpeckers, no insects, no rot.
fire.
You got it. Absolutely flame-resistant.
Ooh. Unbelievable.
And you will never have to paint it or touch it again. This is not a paint. This is like the glazing on pottery. They run this through very high-temperature kilns, and they bake it on. So for 30 years, you're not touching
done.
the outside of your house.
And I can change this color?
I have over 770 different colors of Hardie, and we can even make it look like real wood, which I know you like.
I really do. I think this just looks very Colorado.
Yes,
you know,
for
like
sure.
I have a horse, maybe I have a horse, a stable, maybe or two. Okay, I heard you also have a special deal for
So
us,
this is
for
our
the viewers
huge
here.
spring siding sale. It's 25% off your James Hardie replacement
Oh,
project.
wow.
That includes everything: soffits, fascia, gutters, the whole 9 yards. The entire exterior of the envelope of the house. If you've got some bad windows, great time to do it. You know we're the Colorado Marvin guys, right? Put some Marvin windows in there and you have a heck of a deal. But this is a huge, huge savings. It's the biggest sale of the year.
Oh, wow.
And it includes 24 months, same as cash financing. So literally no money down. If you're using our standard colors, we probably have them in the warehouse and we can be on your house in a week or two. Average siding job is anywhere from 5 to 10 business days. That's it. That's it.
This
In and out.
midnight blue is the one I look at. That
Yeah, it's
midnight
gorgeous.
tide,
They're
stunning.
gorgeous.
Let's say our viewers are ready for an upgrade, but they don't know where to start, which is
Yep.
where most people are. I get it. Can they come to the showroom?
They can come to the showroom, but even better, we'll come out to the house, no pressure whatsoever. We come out, we want to see what is under your siding, right?
see.
Because we want a proper substrate to put the Hardie on. Plus, a lot of homes built in the 70s, 80s, people want more insulation.
Yeah.
Great time to add more insulation,
There you-
right?
and you can do
Boom.
that.
We can do it all. We come out, we do full 3D renderings. We ping satellites off the house, and we literally build you an image of the house. Half
This
of
is
the
it right
fun,
here.
by the way, is playing with all the colors, design options, and styles, and literally giving your house 100% facelift which Nick will talk about here.
Yeah, the facelift, right?
He doesn't have to do the surgery that I do, but
But that's
he still gets it done.
fantastic that you can change it so you can. I'm a visual person, so if you're like, I'll change it to this, I want to see it. So that's so
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, before we go, Dave, Mountain Safe Exteriors just got a little industry award.
We did.
So tell us about
We won the
that.
President's Award. So we are like I said, we are the second largest James Hardy installer in the country.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And
well,
if you
mazel.
read our reviews, by
Yes.
the way, the owner's a little OCD. They're perfect.
They're like 5-star.
All.
I mean, and the best part, can I be honest, is the no pressure. I
Yeah.
hate the
No, we
you
don't do
gotta
that.
get it now.
Nope.
Unbelievable.
We don't.
Dave is giving Colorado and Company viewers a special discount all of April. 25% off all James Hardy siding and no payments for 2 years. Just go to mountainsafe.com for more information. You could also visit the showroom. It's in Greenwood Village. You can also call 720-955-2120. Mountain Safe Exteriors sponsored today's segment. Tomorrow, Colorado and Company is committing our entire hour to our veterans. Rocky Mountain Honor Flight is an organization that flies our vets to D.C., my hometown, completely free of charge so that they may experience the war memorials that commemorate the brave, the fallen, and those who fought for our freedoms. Join us tomorrow for a very special Honor Flight Telethon. It is right here at 10 a.m. on 9 News. All right, now let's take a look at an innovative technology that can help many people and address, maybe even ease the overwhelming symptoms of anxiety. You know I have it, depression, you know I've talked about it, or other mental health concerns. I've been very open with my audience that I have this because I think that it's reasonable and relatable. So here is patient Zeta Boone with more.
Through me having autism my whole life, through these ExoMind treatments, through the 6 treatments that I've had, I've noticed less anxiety, less OCD, less ADHD, and less worrying.
So would you say that ExoMind is?
ExoMind is pretty great. Yeah.
Oh, that was lovely. That was beautiful. Nick Tverdik from ARIA Integrative Health is here to share more about ExoMind. Hi, Nick.
Hello.
And I want to be honest with you guys. I've done ExoMind because I deal with that, and it has been wonderful. It seems that ExoMind is helpful for many. I just talked about honoring our vets. Our PTSD is a huge thing they're dealing with. Can ExoMind actually help veterans?
Absolutely. So what I'm most excited, or one of the things that I'm most excited about, is potentially helping all these veterans.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
And not just veterans, also firefighters. There's a lot of PTSD
Cops, yeah.
and police officers as well, first responders in general.
Yes.
PTSD is a very big part of their lives.
Yeah.
And if we can help ease some of that anxiety and bring some peacefulness to them, and that's what we have seen.
Yeah.
We have many, many different testimonials specifically for patients with PTSD, and we're treating mental wellness, but they come to us and be like, my PTSD symptomology has really washed away, which is, I just feel blessed to be able
what a gift,
to be part of
Nick.
this
That's
entire
huge.
process. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I've done nothing to earn mine, but whatever. We came to ARIA, we saw an ExoMind treatment in action. So share what it looks like and feels like, because I've been there and it's very sort of calming. I fall asleep. Talk to us.
It's a very comfortable treatment.
Yeah.
So what's so great about what ExoMind is this is the first truly second generation of TMS.
That's what I have heard, yeah.
So TMS has been around for 40 years. There's close to 20,000 peer-reviewed white papers on the safety and efficacy of TMS. This is the second generation.
Got it. It's upgrade.
It's upgrade. So this is 6 times more efficient in terms of people seeing those efficacious results. So in terms of treating depression, anxiety, and we are an IRB clinical trial site specifically for this. So we were one of the principal investigators for FDA approval with this machine. Once again, we just feel blessed to be part of where we are with this, but the results that we're seeing with mental wellness is unlike anything that has ever come before, all with 0 pain, 0 downtime.
Yeah, there's no pain
and
whatsoever.
0 negative side effects with this treatment.
I was a stand-up, and all my stand-up comic friends, we're all depressed, of course, but they are all trying this out now, too, because I've recommended it to them, and they say it's way better than TMS that they've dealt with.
It's amazing how many people have done this
Yeah.
that previously did an entire round of TMS in the
Right.
past and seen night and day,
Yeah.
apples and oranges type
Yeah.
of treatments. It's because of how efficient this is. So what's happening is we're causing magnetic pulses that go in your left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex.
Nerd alert.
Yeah, thank you. But what it's doing is we're rebuilding that neuroplasticity that your brain really prunes away as you age, because the way the brain is designed is to be as efficient as possible whenever possible. So I always like to use the story of, let's say you're a 11, 12-year-old girl and you're in middle school.
Yeah.
And you get picked on and you're bullied and you experience that shame and resentment and embarrassment, and you go home and you may be crying and your mom's like,
You're describing me for real.
I'm sorry.
No.
My daughter's going through something.
Yeah.
And the mom goes, oh, sweetie, let's make some cookies. And then it happens again later on in the week. Oh, sweetie, let's make some cake.
Let's go get ice cream or whatever.
Let's go get ice cream, whatever. And it happens. Well, now the way your brain sees it is it has a solution towards that emotional trigger. Whether it's right or wrong or better for you, it doesn't matter. It knows that it has a pathway that's been built. And the way your brain, as you age, is it prunes away all those other options. Where when you're in middle school, you have 1,000 different highway lanes you can drive down. Now, when you're 25, that's shrunk down into 2, and it's congested traffic.
Yeah.
So what ExoMind is basically doing is breaking those chains, and we're reopening up and rebuilding all that neuroplasticity in the brain. So we're seeing unbelievable results in just overall mental wellness, which we've never been able to do before in such a fast and effective and safe treatment.
I mean, you walked in behind the cameras and were like, oh, you're not doing well, because I'm stuck in one neural pathway, and it's really been a different. Today you were like, you look much better, and it's been after some of that. I think most of us have heard about biofeedback, and it's been very helpful for that. Is ExoMind the same thing?
Oh, good question.
Thank
so
you.
biofeedback is very cool, but it's different. Biofeedback is trying to accomplish neuroplasticity, but you get brain mapping and things like that with it. We are causing neuroplasticity.
I see.
So the area that we're treating, I'm not going to say the nerd alert area again, that is responsible for 95% of all neuroregeneration in the entire brain. So when we turn on the CEO of the brain, which is the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the rest of the brain
Turns on.
Well. It's truly remarkable.
Yeah, and it's very relaxing.
Yeah, and we have such long clinical data. I mean, 40 years, guys, of safety, efficacy.
Yeah.
This is absolute gold standard for so many mental wellness, and it's been completely suppressed by the drug companies and insurance.
Of course, they don't want you to know.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, of course.
So
Well, that's why
we're
we're
here
here.
to actually help.
Absolutely. All right, I want you guys to hear from ARIA patients. This is Denise and Twain Wilkins, so you can hear from actual patients. Take a listen.
One of the constant companions with Hashimoto is depression, and I've suffered with that for years. I've tried antidepressants, and they might work for a little while, but not for long. So the ExoMind, having that therapy treatment here at ARIA has been life-changing for me. The very first treatment I had, Nick could see that I was not great in my headspace. I felt very chaotic, very frantic, just trying to get through the appointments here that day. And he says, do you have 30 minutes? Come on. When the treatment was over, I came downstairs. I felt like all of the chaos and frantic feelings had left my body.
I see the happiness in her that I haven't seen for a long time because of these treatments. And it's something that we're continuing because we're seeing the progress and we're seeing the positive progress that makes her feel better, and which makes me happier.
Happy wife, happy life, to be honest. Is it too good to be true? Because we see a lot of go do this, and you're like, is it too good to be true?
Everything we do is evidence-based. Once again, we're one of the principal investigative sites for the IRB clinical trial. So we have done more treatments than anybody in the state of Colorado. And the technology itself, we have over 40 years of clinical data. This works better than anything that we've ever seen. I just feel blessed that we have this capability to help Colorado and Company viewers.
I'm very helpful. It helped me as well. I'll be very honest. Thank you so much. So guys, call Nick and his team. If you're struggling, there's no shame in it. That's why I want to break that stigma. Call at ARIA Integrative Health. Ask about the brand new ExoMind treatment. That's what it's called. Nick is offering up to 30% off select services right now. So call for your very free consultation, 303-953-2899, or see more online at ariaintegrativehealth.com. Thank you, Nick, for just just being a good friend to me too. They sponsored today's segment. After the break, let's keep the healthy conversation going. Find out if you're doing things that can lead to kidney stones. What fun. That's next. Stay with us. Oh, they're awful. Oh, God.
The following interview involves commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.
So let's turn our focus for just a few minutes to a healthy Colorado conversation. Kidney stones. Ouch. What are they? How can we get rid of them? And most importantly, how do we avoid them? So we got some straight talk from Dr. Brenton Winship. He's a urologist and urologic surgeon with Common Spirit Health. Take a look. How common are kidney stones?
So kidney stones are very common. The incidence is around 1 in 10 persons per year.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So very common, something that a lot of people experience.
Okay. Yeah. Are there calcified stones? That's what they are?
Several different types of kidney stones, but
Yeah.
the most common type are calcium-based kidney stones.
Are you impressed that I knew that?
Of course.
He wasn't. Okay, what are the risk factors? So who's more likely, men, women? Talk to me.
So men are at a higher risk for developing kidney stones, but in the last 10 years or so, women are coming up to basically be even with men.
Really?
We've seen the incidence increasing in women and staying relatively stable in men.
Interesting.
Anybody over the age of 50 has a higher risk for developing a kidney stone. And otherwise, it can depend a bit on where you live. So
Really?
yeah, if you've ever heard of the Stone Belt, it sort of refers to the southern portion of the United States. So obviously there's a bit of a correlation between sort of higher temperatures probably correlates with dehydration.
I see. That makes sense.
And then there are some risk factors that go along with things like diabetes, increasing your risk for developing a kidney stone as well.
How do you diagnose a kidney stone? Usually it's when someone's like, I'm gonna die, I'm in so much pain.
Several different ways that, if you come to see your doctor, you come to see us, you come into the emergency room and you're having pain in the back, and if your doc suspects a kidney stone, they have a couple choices in terms of what to order. The most definitive thing is to get a CAT scan.
Yeah.
Those are 99% sensitive for all kidney stones. They're gonna tell us exactly how big it is, where it is, that sort of thing. But a lot of times you can pick them up on ultrasound, or at least you can find the evidence that there's a stone on ultrasound. And you can often see them on just a plain x-ray as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Especially
depending
if
on
they're
what
big.
your symptoms are and sort of what your doctor has at their fingertips, any of those can be used to diagnose the stone.
My mom used to get them. She had a calcium issue, and she'd also have like nausea. Is that something? It's not just the back pain. You just feel wretched. Is that right?
Right, yeah, so kidney stones cause pain basically when they act like a cork. They keep urine from passing from your kidney down to your bladder,
I
and that's
see.
going to cause your kidney to swell. That's not only painful, but it induces a lot of nausea.
Oh, wow. Okay, good to know. How can we prevent kidney stones? What's the best way to sort of reduce the risk? Is there a spell?
Nothing quite that easy, I'm afraid. The best thing you can do is stay hydrated. Right?
Okay.
And the guidelines that are out there recommend that you drink enough fluid such that you're making between 2 and 2.5 liters of urine per 24 hours to prevent kidney stones,
Okay.
which is a heroic amount of fluid.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, so it's not easy for anybody, even myself, somebody who sees a lot of kidney stones
Sure.
and sees their consequences. Most days I'm not keeping up with that, but
Okay.
the recommendation is out there. A lot of people try to avoid calcium in their diet, but that's actually the opposite of what you should do. You want a normal amount of calcium, especially from dietary sources. And trying to increase the amount of citric acid or citrate in things that you're drinking. So lemon juice in your water, even certain sodas like Sprite, 7-Up,
Really?
Fresca, those things have a lot of citrate in them, which can be super helpful. And
To
probably,
prevent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Probably the hardest thing to do is try to stick with low amount of sodium in your diet.
Okay.
The more salt that you eat, that actually pushes more calcium into the urine, which is how the calcium ends up there.
In the first place. Okay, so what treatment options are available? My mother had them so large that they would they'd have to break them up.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that we treat kidney stones. If they're small, we can give you some medications and try to help you pass them.
Okay.
As they get larger, there's various things we can do. We still use a lot of lasers in kidney stones.
Okay.
And we can do relatively minimally invasive procedures, so no cuts or anything on the outside to get after those stones and break them up and get them out of there. We still use something called shockwave lithotripsy, which is an ultrasound-based technology that dates back all the way to World War II.
Is that right?
Yeah, we still use that. It's completely non-invasive. Everything happens from the outside with that. And then for really big stones, we'll actually kind of go in through the back. We'll basically poke a hole into your back, into the kidney, and break up the stone and get all the pieces out of there using a device that's a little bit like your Sonicare toothbrush, but on steroids.
Whoa, wow, oh my God. Okay, if you get a kidney stone or kidney stones, are you then prone to get them again?
Yes.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, so just like how I was saying about, 10% of folks are gonna experience a kidney stone, it's about 10% per year once you've had a kidney stone is your own risk for having another one. So on average, if you have a kidney stone, about every 10 years, you're gonna have an issue with a kidney stone.
Oh my gosh. And a lot of men say it's worse than childbirth. I don't think so. You guys discuss between yourselves. Human kindness is what Common Spirit Health is all about. Visit their website, search for hospitals and doctors in your area. Just go to mountain.commonspirit.org. You can also find more information on 9news.com/healthycolorado. This Healthy Colorado segment is sponsored by Common Spirit Health. It's Masters Week, baby. When Colorado and Company returns, we've got some tips to get you out on the green. Hole in one! So we love connecting our viewers to organizations that can help you navigate life and family. And today I am so proud. We want to introduce you to Guiding Bright Minds. They are a valuable resource for those in the neurodivergent community. And we have co-founder and CEO Tiffany Feingold here, another ambitious woman.
Thank you.
Right here, as well as Colton Gibbons with the coolest name ever of National Medical Supply, proud supporter of the organization. So Tiffany, I want to start with you first. Let's get a better understanding of how neurodivergent is defined, because it's a little hazy and the terminology has changed a lot.
Yes, and I'm so glad you asked. And that's one thing to keep up on all the different changes of the terminology. So neurodivergence is under the umbrella of neurodiversity. So neurodiversity includes all individuals. And then under neurodiversity is neurodivergent and neurotypical. And neurotypical is, as it sounds, brains that function in the typical manner.
Got it.
I guess normal.
Got it.
And then neurodivergent is those that differ in how they think and process. And under that category is like ADHD, dyslexia, autism. You had mentioned in a segment anxiety.
Yes.
That impacts how we process and how our mind works.
It's very hard.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It is.
Wow, so that's really good. Okay, I'm gonna move your hair real quick, just because you're the beautiful hair though. Okay, Tiffany, what inspired you to start Guiding Minds in the first place?
Well, personal experience. I have a son, and early on, and being a parent is hard as it is.
Yeah, you just heard that, Ann Welsh, yeah.
Very hard. And then when you add complexities and uniqueness to that, that can be overwhelming and exhausting. And early on, just as a young age, my son was getting kicked out of daycare in the principal's office. And as a parent, that's heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. And so you had no place to go. There's different hodgepodges of places that had offered services. But what I created with Guiding Bright Minds to help parents, first of all, I wanted to let them know they're not alone.
That's huge.
It's a community that really
huge.
supports each other, because you get so judged, you're looked at, you're evaluated.
There's
for so much shame in how you're parenting. And so we wanted to build a community that works together. So we have a directory of amazing providers, because when you go and Google psychology or Google OT, what does that mean? What is occupational therapy? So we have an online directory, we have resources, we have events, we have community things, and we're gonna talk about one of my big events that's coming up.
Absolutely. So you created the thing you needed.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
I love women like this. Now, as you said, y'all have this very special event coming up. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So I'm so proud. It's the 4th annual Neurodiversity Resource Fair. And last year we got voted by Colorado Magazine as the best event.
High five, baby!
Thank you.
Wow.
I mean, that's huge. And so what we want to do is create a space of inclusiveness. It's sensory friendly. We have over 100 vendors. I know, which can sound like a lot.
Right, but you take it consideration.
We do. And so to give families the understanding that you can come and you can feel supported, you can feel seen, you can feel understood, understood, and meet other parents.
That's a
meet
life raft.
community
That is a life
really
raft.
truly supports, and allow your kids to run and have fun, because there is a group of people there to support them and work with them.
My co-host on DBL has a son on the spectrum, and he says autism is a superpower.
It is.
And you can change the way you view it, which is amazing.
It is.
Colton, how did you first get involved?
Well, so National Medical Supply, we've been around 25 years. We've always kind of worked with Medicaid patients, more on the geriatric side. And then really within the last 5 years was kind of when we got more exposed to this community. Our owners have a nephew that has Down syndrome, so that was kind of our first exposure into this whole community. And once we kind of started doing more events and more things, we realized that there's so many resources and products and support that these families need. And so that's what kind of led us down this path of trying to help those families and really bridge that gap for them of, what products and what's available to them, and then how to get those.
And the mission is specific to you guys. You love the mission as well.
So that's really why our partnership with Guiding Bright Minds means so much to us, because of how they treat families and how their whole mission is to get these resources and this information to those families. That's one thing that we've always found in the community is, once these patients, they get their diagnosis and they get their insurance, but then where do they go?
Yeah,
they don't
lost.
know
That's
how to
right.
access these resources and products. So these events are just so important in helping them with that.
Unbelievable. You two are doing very good work, and I'm very proud that you just created what you needed. Unbelievable. All right, guys, I want you to get to know Guiding Bright Minds and mark those calendars, because you can attend the Neurodiversity Fair, which he just spoke about, on June 13th at Denver Academy. If you or you know someone who's neurodivergent, bring them into this. Right now, you can learn more about services as a resource for neurodivergent people at guidingbrightminds.com. Take a screenshot right there and send it to your friends. This is a great organization. Thank you for being here, both of you. We'll be right back. The Masters are this weekend, which means golf season is officially back. If watching the pros has you thinking, okay, I could totally do that, lucky for us, we have help here in the Coco studio to step up our game. So joining us now is Dave Stein-Metz, Director of Golf at the club at Inverness. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, Dave, the Masters always get people excited to play. What are you seeing out on the course right now as people get back into the swing of things?
So the golf courses are, we've had a very mild winter, so a lot of people have been playing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you'll start seeing the golf courses wake up a little bit, green up a little bit, trees, there's leaves getting on the trees. So
it's the best.
It's the smell of springs in the air.
I used to watch my grandpa. I love the Masters. All right, for someone like me who doesn't hit the course regularly, but who feels like she has some natural talent, okay, for some reason, is there a drill I can do to work on my game?
Yeah, so I like to focus on short game. So
Okay.
really putting, chipping, especially when you're just getting out of the winter and so forth. Just work on putting, short game, chipping, those types of things.
Those types of things. Okay, so let's say I can't make it out to the driving range all the time or like ever. What are some ways I can improve the old swing?
Yeah, so the swing is, what I like to say is just take it slow. So to hit 15, 20 minutes of golf balls, but really what you want to focus on is tempo.
Okay.
And a good drill to do on tempo is you take it to the top and you kind of count to yourself. You go 1, 2, and 3 at impact. So you're just working on tempo.
1, 2, and 3. Let's do some putting work.
Sure.
So you and I were talking back
Yes.
off the camera. Talk to me about how to putt correctly.
Okay, so ball position kind of goes just slightly forward to center.
Okay.
So right about right there.
Okay.
And what we try to do is we've got a little drill here set up that you're going to do kind of a gate drill. So you're
Gate
trying
drill.
to keep the putter between the two objects.
Okay.
And if you're at a golf course, you could put tees in the ground
Got
or
it.
something like that to make it. But since we're here, we're going to just kind of go a gate drill to keep the putter in between.
Okay.
So we can use this one. So
Okay. Oh, I'll use that one.
Yep.
Okay, and then you said to go back, it's all in the shoulders.
It's all in the shoulders, and a good rule of thumb, what we like to say is you're going to bring it back 1 inch per foot that you've got to hit. So
Okay.
So this is saying 6 feet. We want to go about 6 feet back and 6 feet through, just using your shoulders.
So 6 inches this way,
6
6 inches.
inches.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Okay, and you said use the left to go back and the right to go
push
forward. Okay, you guys ready? Should I go?
Absolutely.
Oh God, okay. 3, 2.
There you go.
That's a little hard.
A little hard.
A little hard.
A little hard.
A little aggressive. That's kind of how my personality is. And what's the biggest mistake you see people making during the off season?
Honestly, putting the clubs away completely.
Oh.
There's like we could do this in the house, putting and
keep doing it.
Just working on short game. So putting the clubs away completely is probably what the biggest mistake we see.
Okay, let's give it one more putt. I'm going to go a little more gently.
A little gently.
Okay.
Yep.
Take it down a notch, Tor. Take it down a notch. Here we go.
So right through the gate. There you go, right through the gate. Very nice.
Was it?
That was good.
Kind of
That
good.
was
Okay.
Yes.
So let's say someone's ready to hit the course. What can they expect at the Club of Inverness?
So the golf course, like I said, is just starting to wake up right now. So the golf course is getting in good shape right now.
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun. Everything's mowed, greens are mowed, everything's good.
And is there, for me, a place to get food and drink? Okay.
Yeah, so there's the
look how
Breckenridge,
look how
Breckenridge
beautiful
Ale
that
and Game House that you can grab something to
The
drink.
19th hole.
That's right.
That's where I'll
right.
be.
That's
That's
right.
where I go. Okay, thank you so much, Dave. This is excellent. So guys, book your tee time at the Club at Inverness today. Just go to theclubatinverness.com or you can call 303-397-7878. And again, for that short game, use your shoulders, keep your core tight, and don't be aggressive. Is that right?
That's right.
Do this. That's right. Okay, perfect. When we come back, Dr. Ann Welsh with tips for ambitious women on finding the balance between family and success. Can't wait for this conversation. Boss babes, they all are. So many women feel the pressure to succeed at work while being fully present at home. Psychologist, executive coach, and working mother, Dr. Ann Welsh, she does it all. She works with ambitious women that are navigating both career and family life, and she joins us now. Hello, Doc. How you doing?
Great. So nice to be here.
Absolutely. You are a busy woman. I'm excited to ask you some questions. In your years of practice and coaching, what are some of the, I would say, common issues or almost like patterns that ambitious women deal with on just a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, what I see most often is that women are really feeling pulled in two directions simultaneously, right? They want to show up fully in their careers and they want to show up fully for their families. And both of these roles have become so much more demanding.
Yeah.
And so they're doing all of the things. And from the outside, it maybe even looks like they have it all together, but internally they're feeling overwhelmed or like they're hanging on by the skin of their teeth, or sometimes they're just numb.
Yeah.
But the big theme is that they can't enjoy the life that they've worked so hard to build. And it's at the heart of what I call the ambition paradox, that experience of, I just can't win here.
Right. And they can't enjoy either one, even though they've worked so hard to have both. I have personal friends that are dealing with this right now, so I understand this. How do you go about addressing the feelings of women who think, all right, I have to choose between success and basic sanity here?
Yeah, a lot of women feel like they have to choose, but the real issue is often how we're defining success, right? If success means we're doing everything perfectly, then yeah, that might not be sustainable both in work and in our mothering. But we need to get more granular, right? You don't need to be perfect at everything, but you can be excellent at many things. And you can also choose to opt out of doing some things. And so when women start defining success for themselves and including their own well-being, their energy, their relationships, then they don't have to make that choice between success and sanity. They can have both things.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be 100% on both. That's such a good point of where success should be defined. So what are some ways women watching can sort of build a framework, Doc, to help themselves and their families?
Yeah, there's a few key shifts, but the first and perhaps most important is to put yourself back in the equation, right? So often I think we try to solve this problem by saying, I'll just do everything for everybody else. Yeah. I'll ignore my own needs, and then I'll have the time to do the work and the family thing. But that just leads to burnout, right? So you've got to include yourself here. And part of that is getting clear on what you want and spending less time focusing on whether you deserve things and simply on whether you desire them. right? And then the third piece is recognizing along those lines that taking care of yourself is actually how you take care of your family, right? We know from the research that parenting is about quality, not quantity of time with them. And so if you have to take a little bit of time to kind of fill your own cup, if you will, and then you show up better for your kids, that's actually a better way of doing it. And it's more sustainable over time.
Yeah, I always think of the air, the oxygen mask. You got to put yours on first before, otherwise it's not good for anybody at that point. You have probably heard the word perfectionist, and as I am also one, a people pleaser every single day. I'm going to ask you this personally. What do you do when you hear those words from people? I'm asking for myself.
Yeah. I think perfectionism and people pleasing, we treat them as different, but they really both come from a place of fear and a place of fear that I am not enough. Right. That perfectionism is the fear that I will make a mistake, and people pleasing is the fear of disappointing others. But at the heart of both of them is this feeling that I don't actually cut it as I am. And really, the big way to challenge it is to start challenging that belief system, right? What happens if I'm excellent but not perfect? Does the world fall apart, or is it okay? What happens if I disappoint someone just a little bit? Does the relationship end, or do we actually move on and are fine, right? And I also encourage people to start noticing where these tendencies are actually hurting them, right? With perfectionism, it often gets in the way of our success because it makes us so anxious. And with people pleasing, right, it can hold us back, especially at work. If you're just saying yes to everything, that's not very strategic. And so when we notice the cost, it can start to feel a little easier to maybe try some changes too.
Yeah, what's so interesting is I'm learning that now. It's a little late for me, but I'm realizing how inefficient the people pleasing is, because I'm not having those deep kind of relationships at all, because I'm just saying yes. So important. Mazel tov, you have a new book coming out this summer. It is called Ambitious Mother: From Surviving to Thriving in Your Career and at Home. I would buy this for 10 of my friends if I had 10 friends. Share what you think is your favorite chapter in the book.
Yeah, my favorite part of the book, there's kind of 4 big parts, is the motherhood advantage. And it talks about the ways that motherhood can actually help us grow our careers and can really accelerate our careers. And as part of that section, I actually interviewed an incredible group of women, including Rachel Rogers, who wrote How We Should All Be Millionaires, and Dale Franzen, who is a Tony-winning Broadway producer, and a lot of other amazing women. And all of them were able to share how motherhood sharpened their ambition for something and clarified what they wanted to do with their careers and their lives. And it looked different for each of the women, but for everyone, it really gave them a stronger sense of purpose. And that's the message, right? Motherhood doesn't have to be a limitation. It can really be a source of strength in how we live our lives and how we move forward in our careers and our leadership.
That's beautiful. And everybody, Mother's Day is coming up, so the book, you know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, Dr. Welsh. You can pre-order Dr. Welsh's new book, Ambitious Mother: From Surviving to Thriving in Your Career and at Home. It's coming in August. For more information about Dr. Welsh, I want you to go to drannwelsh.com. We appreciate you, and this I can give to so many of my girlfriends. Thank you. Now let's talk about dating, y'all. Woo, it's become a whole new world to navigate, am I right? That's why we turn to Dr. Viviana for her advice. She breaks down the latest red flag. It's called future faking or future tripping. That's coming up next. You're gonna stay tuned for that one. So back in the day, dating was like dinner and a movie. And now it's keeping up with all the terms and the things you have to watch out for on the apps. So who do we turn to? Dr. Viviana, to keep us up to date and maybe help us score a date? I could use one. Here's our conversation. All right, Dr. Viviana, today we're talking about something called future faking. So let our audience know what that is.
So future faking, it happens when someone makes big promises about their intentions for the future of the relationship with very little to no intention of actually following through. Ugh.
That's the worst.
I know.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it sounds like they could be having a really romantic moment, but instead they just notice that like the actions never really line up with what they've said and what they promised.
It's almost like I've heard it called future tripping too, where you're tripping out on the future. Break it down a little bit more from us. What are some common signs to watch out for?
So they may want to continue, like they just keep talking about, oh, when this happens, when I get this money, when we buy this house, when we have these kids. but then the day-to-day doesn't actually seem like they're making any headway. There's no progress. There's no, maybe they have these great like discussions and conversations, but then they never follow up. They don't really have anything to share whenever you follow up. And so, yeah, it can definitely be something where you're thinking we're going to move in together. We're having all these things, but it's very one-sided.
I get that. Is there a certain timeline in the relationship where this usually starts to happen?
Yeah. So I think typically it's when things get a little bit more serious or should be getting a little bit more serious, and they may not be ready for those steps. Again, it goes back to some emotional immaturity. Sometimes it is actually intentional manipulation. Some people just kind of get off on being that way and like keeping you on the hook. But most of the time it's just knowing that they're not ready, but they're supposed to be. So then they fake that they are. So probably around the 3 to 6 month mark, when people are starting to have a discussion about like, where are we going? What's the future of our relationship? And it's very vague. It can seem very romantic, but it's not really thought out. There's a lot of holes.
Interesting. Okay, so let's say this happens to you.
Yeah.
Steps on what you should do. Do you what should someone do?
Yeah. Bring the conversation back to the present. What are we doing today that is going to get us to tomorrow? If that way, there's no squirming, there's no trying to predict the future. You're literally just like, no, let's talk about today.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What am I doing? How are we working together, with the keyword being together, to work towards this future that you've shared that you want just as much as I do? Right. And you know, if they're avoiding that clarity, if they're avoiding or delaying those conversations, oh, I don't really feel like talking about that right now, they're kind of always redirecting and not taking accountability, then chances are they're not really aligned with your goals, and you need to call them out on it.
Nice. Call them out. Okay, why would someone want to do this? And is there ever a time in which this is like a good thing or, well-intentioned?
Well-intentioned, and I see this all the time as a relationship therapist. I'm constantly working with couples where one partner is trying to avoid conflict. They don't know how to have conversations, or they worry that their partner doesn't know how to have tough conversations without it turning into a royal rumble or without it turning into threats of a breakup. So they might avoid conflict. They also might feel like they're a little bit embarrassed or ashamed that they aren't in a place to be able to actually follow through with some of these bigger life goals and milestones. You know, society puts a lot of pressure, especially on young people, to get it together and keep it together. And, you know, I feel like sometimes they can think, well, gosh, I'm already in my mid 30s, or I'm in my late 20s. And by this time, my friends or my family were already doing X, Y, and Z.
Totally.
And so they sometimes can just feel a little bit behind and a little ashamed about it.
I have felt that, and I understand that so well. I want to thank you for this, because I think this is a really niche thing, but a lot of people can understand it. I will not future fake seeing you again, because I am sure you'll be.
We're going to do this. I'm holding you to it.
We're not future faking it. Thank you so much, Dr. Viviana. You've been amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Continue the conversation with Dr. Viviana. Find her online at drviviana.com/vividrelationships, or download her free new app. It's called Vivid Relationships. We'd also love to ask your relationship questions to her, so please send your questions our way via email to mycoco@9news.com. Thanks so much for your company, Colorado. Portions of today's program were sponsored by the businesses listed on your screen. Colorado businesses love Colorado and Company, so be a part of our show and share your ideas, products, and story with viewers across the state. To learn more about being featured on the show, call 303-871-1726. Next week on Colorado and Company, we're getting ready for Earth Day. Fresh flavors, sustainable sips, and easy ways to live a little greener this spring. All good. And remember, everyone you know is facing an uphill battle you know nothing about. So be kind always, and then apply that back to yourself. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.